And the next one is called leaf spot, or sometimes it's called melting out. Now, I am not an expert with this one. Now, this is different than gray leaf spot, which is something that I work on in my St. Augustine grass. Not an expert there either. In fact, you're not ever going to hear me say I'm an expert on anything. I'm not that. I don't do that. But I don't have a lot of experience with leaf spot. But I know enough to read, and I know enough to talk to people that have experience with it and kind of talk about a little bit of it. So for the most part, leaf spot and melting out, which it's two different pathogens that affect kind of in succession. The leaf spot will kind of, or the melting out will kind of come first, I think, and then as things get warmer, the leaf spot will come in. They always kind of show up together, though. It affects perennial rye, tall fescue, and Kentucky bluegrass. But perennial rye, I think, is the one you're going to see it on the most. They also can hit zoysia and Bermuda, and I think if they're low mode, it makes it even more susceptible. Now, this disease is different than the last two we mentioned because this one does actually affect or infect the crowns and the roots, which means pushing nitrogen on it in high rates is going to stress the grass out because nitrogen stimulates the grass to grow, and you don't want to do that when it's sick. It's almost like if you're sick internally and all of a sudden I want to feed you a whole bunch of sugar and then have you go out and run a marathon. It's not going to work. You're going to burn out because you're sick, and it's actually going to make you more sick. And that's what can happen when you have these diseases that have this type of a mode in which they affect the plant. This also does affect the leaves, obviously, because you see the leaf spot, but it also does get into the crown and into the root. So therefore, we don't want to push it hard. But it doesn't mean we're not going to push it at all, and it doesn't mean that you caused it. That's what I'm trying to say. By fertilizing early in the year, you did not cause it. Now, fertilizing going forward, we're going to be careful, but I don't want you to think anything more than that. All I want you to do is face the problem at hand, and let's go after it. And the first thing is, you definitely want to use Azoxystrobin here. That is going to be Scott's Disease X. That's going to be the very best treatment for this disease is the Azoxystrobin. You can get that at any hardware store, Home Depot, whatever, $20 for 5,000 square feet. And you're going to want to use the curative rate, which is 4 pounds per 1,000. So actually, at that curative rate, I don't think it'll cover 5,000 square feet. You'll need to do the math. I don't have the bag rates in front of me here. But 4 pounds per 1,000, and you want to apply every 14 days while you're seeing the disease present. Now, as it starts to burn out, you can stop, obviously, with the disease problem, and then or with the disease X, and you can move into more, disease or dead spot repair, which would be using the dethatch and things like that. But the idea there is definitely when you get this one, if it is starting to manifest in a way that you're seeing the visible damage from it, use the Azoxystrobin. From here, definitely don't put any more nitrogen fertilizer down for several more weeks. Your lawn is going to be fine. We just don't, again, want to burn it out. But it doesn't mean you're not going to fertilize at all for the rest of the year. Instead, what you want to do is move to micronutrients. Micronutrients are going to help support photosynthesis, help support the plant in general and all of its systems and functions. Just like I always say, sea kelp and humic acid for the soil and healthy shooting and rooting. And then any type of potassium you can get. Again, OO2 microgreen has it. Nice low doses of potassium in there would also be helpful to help that lawn recover. You want to do the regular cultural practices we talk about, catching your clippings, only water in the mornings, deep and infrequent, all of those things we've been talking about, sharp blades, don't mow the grass when it's under stress. Let it kind of work its way out and work its way through. The idea being is you want to control the controllables. There's going to be things that you can't control. Let's talk about watering, for example. If Mother Nature decides to give you a storm at 8 o'clock at night, which happens all the time throughout the Midwest, does that mean that Mother Nature broke the watering rule and she's trying to kill your grass? No, it's just the type of things that happen. So you control what you can and let the rest work itself out. By the way, if you are getting thunderstorms, that's great because that's good natural free nitrogen that can keep everything rolling while this disease works itself out. But in the long and the short of it, with the leaf spot and the melting out, the idea here is to kick in your cultural practices, kick in your mowing, kick in your watering the proper way, keep the Azoxystrobin going, keep it moving, and this should clear itself out by the time you get to midsummer. If you need to clear out the disease quicker, use the dethatch to eat up anything that died, any dead spots. The dethatch will eat that up and it will keep that lawn or hopefully help to dry it out or help not allow things to harbor there. That's the idea with that, and that's what that dethatch can do. And then the other products to keep the soil healthy.